Okay, so I just made my first YouTube video ever and it was pretty hilarious. So I'm trying again. Hopefully this one is better. But anyway, I'm Marie and I want to make a booktube and talk about books because it's fun and I find them interesting. So this is my first, well, I guess my second attempt at a YouTube video ever. Um, I want to talk about Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang today. This is actually going to be a negative review for my first one, so sorry if you love this book. If you don't want to hear anything bad about it, then you should not watch this, because I'm going to say things bad about it. Also, this will have spoilers. I don't really see the point of talking about a book without being able to use details to talk about why you think what you think. So I really believe in spoiler videos for BookTube. Also, I have dogs, so they might make noise in the background. I'm going to try to get a better mic, but they made a bunch of noise in the last video, so hopefully they don't make as much this time. But yeah, so spoilers. So also don't watch this if you don't want spoilers for this book. So let's get into it. First, the prologue. I actually really liked the prologue. I thought it was great. It was interesting. It was fast-paced. The characters seemed cool. Everything that was happening in it was really intense. I loved it, and I thought, I'm going to love this book. This book is so cool. And it had tons of great reviews. I knew a lot of people really love this book. It's like everywhere. And then I got past the prologue, and I was really disappointed. I really didn't like it at all. So I didn't finish. I DNF'd. I got to the point where, here's a spoiler, the point where the lab blows up, or part of the lab, and the main character has to leave and go somewhere else. And I might have read a little bit past that, and that was it. And then I looked up if the book gets more interesting and gets like more intensity like the prologue, and it was so far into the book where it was going to be interesting that I was like, I can't do it. I can't read that much of this book, that many pages, like 400 pages or something, to get to this really, like, the one part that's interesting. So I gave up. So what was bad about it for me then? What didn't I like about it? First, I felt like the pacing in the whole rest of the book after the prologue was so slow and plodding. And I know that I think that that's supposed to be part of the point, because the author is trying to show this experience of academia and what that life is like and how boring and like tedious it can be. But I don't want to do that in real life. I definitely don't want to feel it for hundreds of pages in the book that I'm reading. Like, I get it if it was a chapter to demonstrate that, but I really don't want to read a whole book that is that. So yeah, I didn't like that. I really didn't like the pacing. Then next was the plot. The plot, it was boring. It was just that, like, even the romantic part where they meet, which I like relationship dynamics, and when a romantic relationship is starting in a book and it's like fun and cute and all that. But I don't even know why they liked each other, or I couldn't even tell that they did like each other, other than her just getting drunk and then, I don't know, just like saying things to him. I just didn't see any development between them. So that wasn't even fun either. And that was the best part of the book, I think. So then the next part is characters. I didn't like any of the characters. And like, that's okay. I liked the janitor guy at the beginning. I forget his name, I'm sorry. At the beginning of the book when he was in the prologue. But then the rest of the book, I was just like, I don't care about you anymore. The main character was unlikable, which is fine. I don't mind, or a lot of times I don't like a book if the main character is unlikable, but sometimes I can like a book with an unlikable main character if everything else about the book is really well done and interesting. But as I said, I found it boring and plotting anyway, and she was unlikable. And I know that she's supposed to grow, she's ignorant and naive and all this stuff. And she's going to grow by the end of the book, which I'm fine with. I love seeing growth and development of my main characters, and I like that they can have flaws at the beginning, even really bad flaws. Like my favorite series are by Joe Abercrombie, so yeah, I'm okay with flaws. But she was unlikable and everything else was bad about the book, and just like I didn't care about anything. So yeah, that didn't work for me either. And finally, this was the worst thing for me. The biggest problem I had. Those other things weren't even the biggest problem. The biggest problem was how heavy-handed it was in its like moral and social issues. So trying to like demonstrate these problems with society, right? Um it was so beat you over the head that the antagonist who works at the lab with her, I didn't, he was like a cartoon character. I guess maybe there are people that are really that bad, especially in this world today. I can see that you're probably meeting some people that are really that bad, but I don't meet that many that are that openly bad. And also in, I think in academia, in programs that are heavily male, um, that can be a lot worse, and there can be a lot of problems there. I have a master's degree in philosophy, which is more male heavy, even though it's, a lot more other genders have been taking philosophy. So it was like a little bit male heavy when I got my master's. It wasn't that bad though. So I didn't really have that experience, but I totally understand that people do have that experience. But I don't know. I just need more subtlety in when being presented with moral issues. It just felt silly and cartoonish. Everything with her, and also with the janitor who she makes her assistant, everything with him as well, it just was so over the top, and I hate that. That's one of my biggest things in fantasy that makes me DNF a book. I want it to be realistic. I want the characters and the way that they behave and speak, and deal with each other and the relationships, that needs to be realistic for me, because we have such a fantastical world. I just don't find it interesting if the characters feel fake, and cartoonish. So I didn't like that. One other good thing about it though is the magic system. I really did think was interesting and cool, and so like complicated, or like not complicated, but so like complex. And there was like, she clearly really thought about it and had this intricate idea about how it was going to work, and I loved that, and I thought that that was cool. But I didn't want to like just read about that and then about them doing the research, and then have like these cartoonish moments, and then their relationship not jiving and not feeling developed. So with all of that together, the good prologue and the magic system couldn't keep me going. So I DNF'd at that point. I really don't understand why it's so loved. The heavy handedness really turned me off, and I was surprised because a lot of people say great things about this book, and I didn't think that it was going to have such a major flaw in it. So if you like it, no hate or anything. Like, I know everybody has different tastes, and that's perfectly fine. I'm sure there's books that I love that other people would say are like silly, or they think are not well written. Um, and that's okay. But if you liked it, I would love to know why, what was great about it for you, or like, did you you didn't mind the pacing, or maybe you just found that those parts interesting, or you connected with what she was trying to show about academic life. I'm not sure. So yeah, if you liked it, I'd love to hear. If you didn't like it or you resonate with my issues with it, I'd love to hear that too. So hopefully this video is better than the first one I made, and it's, you know, an okay first one. So have a great day, and hopefully you'll see me again.